All right, everyone, welcome back to some more Horizon Overwatch. Today we have a scrim between some two very high level teams. We have Fracture versus WildHeart eSports, and joining me today, I'm Pulse, your colorcaster, and my friend here is Rian, my play-by-play. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. Earlier today we did cast the Russian Overwatch Pro Cup, between top teams, and now we're moving over to NA for some top teams here going at it, and just looking to get some practice going on. The first map is going to be the Temple of Anubis, 2 CP map, hated by the community, but it is fun to watch, if anything. And Pulse, I am pretty excited to see Temple of Anubis because most of the time it's always Volskaya or a map like that. And Temple of
Mm-hmm.
Anubis, I feel like it needs a little bit of love because I do indeed like this map.
Right, yeah. The only time we ever see it is when it's pulled randomly from like a pool, like we see in the Overwatch League. It's only played because it's in that kind of map rotation. And yeah, you're right, absolutely. When it's left up to the teams, Volskaya, is more of the better 2 CP map pick. So, I'm glad to see Temple of Anubis. There is a lot of strategies that could be run here. Often, I think our favorite strategy here is that strategy of kind of having the May come out with the Orisa and then lifting using the wall to lift Orisa up on that high ground and then May going all the way back to spawn and switching to whatever character they're playing. So I just love the creative strategies that come out on this map.
Yeah. Temple of Anubis, is a very varied map, and a lot of the times they have, you run the snipers too, and the snipers can pressure the choke itself. We're going to hop right on in the game here after that little bit of intro. And we have got, again, 4K plus team. Oh,
Oh, oops.
never mind. Never mind. There we go. Restarting now. We've got the Fracture in the blue and the WildHeart Esports in the red here. And we're going to see what they're going to start out with on the defense here for Fractured. Uh, It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because it is scrims, right? So you don't know if teams want to run the double sniper comp that usually we've been seeing lately, or if they want to try and experiment with something fresh and new because you don't really have the stakes. But we've already got a DC. Look at this.
Ooh, already. Wow, it looks like we waited around a little bit too long, and then got a little tired, contracted a little syndrome, a little sickness, have you say? And we already have, it seems, a disconnect for at the moment. We're gonna get a quick pause here, but yeah, I absolutely agree with you on sometimes we see the meta strategy being run here, like you said, the double snipers, the kind of obvious stuff that you'll see, um, so that when because you have to practice that meta strategy just to get under their belt. They're all ready
Mhm.
for when the actual match matters. You could actually use those kind of strategies that you practiced here, or like you said, you could kind of take a weird strategy, going trying it out just because you want to practice. We got the meta under our belt. We know how to run it. Now we just gotta practice. Some weird stuff. If there's a team that's giving us problems, we could do that weird stuff. And yeah, that's what I like about these scrims.
Yeah, for sure. Scrims really they just gave teams the opportunity to have fun, practice, play the 6v6 Overwatch because, as we all know, ranked is a completely different beast than the Wild West. It is just normal ranked Overwatch, but 6v6 Overwatch. This is really Overwatch in its truest form here. This coordinated team play where everyone knows what they're doing, they have a role, and it truly becomes a team-based shooter as opposed to ranked. Like I said before. I mean, that feels a lot of the time like you're playing 1v6, depending on what elo you're in. But regardless, we're sitting here waiting for the reconnect here. Not exactly sure what happened, And if you know me at all, I'm a doctor, and I'm a doctor
Ooh.
in identifying these kinds of diseases. All right, we got a few. There's the lag disorder, and then there's the DC syndrome. And you see, usually they're kind of accompanied by one another. If someone has lag disorder, chances are they might experience some symptoms of DC syndrome as well. And it seems like, unfortunately,
Uh-oh.
Shinu on the side of Fractured might be suffering from uh, DC syndrome here. It's a very interesting disease. It manifests itself in many forms. It can strike at any time, so you really got to be careful. Got to keep your eyes open at all times because you never know when exactly it's going to strike. it'll come out and ambush you. It's very dangerous.
Right, definitely dangerous. And this was it could be a serious case. Sometimes the DC syndromes are kind of one and done. It's kind of like you feel like, oh no, I have this DC syndrome. You disconnect for a little bit, and then you join that game, and then you join right back in the game. You're like, okay, guys, it was kind of like that the 1 day flu where you feel sick, go to the bathroom, you throw up for a little bit, then you come back out, and hey, it's all gone. You're all good already. So yeah, looks like this looks like a serious case because Shinu is actually not doesn't seem to be coming back. We are gonna have a sub coming for Shinu. So I hope you recover well and
Yeah.
take your meds. That's a message from Dr. Rian. Take your meds.
Yeah, take your meds. One of the best ways to counteract DC syndrome and lag disorder is just Ethernet. Ethernet cables will definitely help you out a lot. And if you have not invested in them already, it is pretty much a guaranteed cure, almost, barring, people coming out and DDoSing you for whatever reason or messing with your power lines. That's always a very fun time. But about 30 seconds here till the gates open, and the defense is looking like it's going to be setting up with this triple tank comp here with Ana and the Zen. Little interesting because they won't have the res.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a risk you take anytime you kind of don't run Mercy on any map. You just run that risk of not having that resurrection, so all kills are final. But it's going to be up to those healers to kind of be pumping in that damage, and it's up to X Shasta to kind of take over that main healer role because Zen's going to be concentrating on getting some frags.
Yeah, absolutely. Zen, he wants to be able to get the value from his discords on the front line and dealing damage, because it's all about Zen's positioning. He is pretty squishy, with only 200 HP in the shield, and he has no mobility as well, so he's got to be very careful and play it safe.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they're going to start trying to move into the point. They're running this double sniper comp to go against them. It's a comp we see very often go against them. They have this high ground. It's the snipers to try to find an opportunity. Anybody who's kind of outside of those shields.
Yeah, you got Sobek holding down the front line with shields here of the WildHeart, and just wants to block Face Monster from getting really a lot of value on the Widowmaker here, but Pong is looking for the pressure as well on the Roadhog. Has to take a breather there to heal himself back up, and here you see the dive is starting to begin on the point here. Pong is still holding the front line, wants to keep Widowmaker busy, who now has the Inversight and could possibly use this to try and get some picks, but Lebowski draws first blood here onto Brennan, but Cerny brings him back into the fight. And really, this was just a long fight. Teams poking at each other, and now with the pick onto Kai, could be what they need. The Reinhardt's down, but Brennan does get found by Kraken here. But my goodness, I say this fight is going neck and neck, back and forth here. Face Monster does go down after taking the kill onto Pong, but here's Lebowski once more with the Transcendence. They have the Nano Boost as well. Both support ultimates are available here for the defense, and it might be just what they need to win at this fight because it's just Kraken left on the point here, looking for the contest. Now Sobek is back into the fight with the Reinhardt, and this should give the team the support that they need, but a Dragon Strike looks like it's going to open things up. Rasslin is caught. Pretty big so far because you lose a lot of that damage, and you see Sobek gets the Nano Boost, but there's not a whole lot you can do when they're held up on the high ground like this, and with X-Shasta down, it's looking like the offense is going to be the ones to take this point. But D.Va's down now. Could possibly, shift things back, turn the tides, but no. Unfortunately, in the end, Face Monster is there along with Kai to just apply the pressure, and Cerny can bring Kai back to the fight even after being charged into the wall. And now the fight's going to move to the second point.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate because fights that kind of go back and forth on Temple of Anubis that are scrappy on point A, that is going to favor the offense just because they do have that spawn advantage. There's a long walk for defense. Now, the story absolutely flips on this point B. Defense has a major spawn advantage. So this fight seems scrappy like that, where it's going back and forth. There's kills being traded on both sides. That's going to actually favor the defense rather than the offense.
What that reminded me of is actually an EU fight rather than an NA fight because, in my experience here casting both sides, EU fights tend to be a little longer and drawn out like that, where it's just teams poking back and forth after each other. Whereas NA tends to go very quickly, and this fight is looking a lot more like NA. You see 3 kills go off right away. Kraken here looking to get finished off very early. Has the grab though, might not be able to come back out to X-Shasta. Needs to retreat after being dove upon by the Winston. Does put him to sleep here, but not even sure if anyone can contest for long. You see Rasslin switch over the Tracer for the contest and is finished off right away. And that is going to be WildHeart eSports taking this one so far with a pretty solid time back.
Yeah, that just had to do with good focus and good ult usage. From the start, they get those 3 kills, and I was kind of expecting the Zarya to kind of grab them all together, because those are 3 people that were all together, but they trusted their strength of their DPS and their tank line to kind of take it without using those ultimates, and that was the key there. Because in that last second, there was about 4 people who were about to touch the point. But then that graviton surge kind of kept them off the point and were able to cap it.
Yeah.
Only Tracer really was able to touch it. And
Hmm.
Tracer's not going to survive for long with 150 HP. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, great ult usage, great team play in general. They kind of when engaging on point A, they rotated on the right side and then took the high ground on them so they could initiate the
Oh
dive.
yeah.
And, you couldn't have performed that any better, I'd say.
Yeah, that taking up that high ground positioning, we all know why the high ground is so useful. I mean, if you really need, an example of that, just watch episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that just gives you the answer you need on why the high ground is advantageous. But in all seriousness, it's because you have much better positioning up there. You are able to get more angles onto the people below you, whereas people below you, I mean, they can't really shoot up. They have to be looking up. Vertical aiming is a lot harder than just looking down or aiming normally. And you can just back away from the ledge, and then they can't shoot you. Whereas, really, there's not a whole lot of places you can hide if you are on the low ground here. But you see the defense and the offense, both of them together, are running this dive. The tanks want to stay mobile and want to be able to pressure that high ground because, as we know, as we saw from that last fight, high ground is so key in winning fights.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's going to be the key here. I feel like on the attack, it looks like they're running a pretty base dive, though they have 3 supports right now. I'm assuming Pong's going to switch off after speed boosting his team out. No, they're going to run. They're going to stay with this triple support. So it's kind of like a weird half dive with all the support. So every person could technically just be assigned 1 healer. So, it could work out for them, and they're going to start to engage here.
Yeah, and you initiate with the speed boost of Pong here, but then you notice that the tanks are up top, and now you see pressuring the high ground, forcing Abyss to drop down. But here is Kai, on the other hand, diving onto Pong here. Needs to be careful, though. With 2 supports, really, there's a whole lot you can do. Kind of ironic, though, if you think about it, but Rasslin draws first blood here onto Face Monster, and now this gives the team the opportunity to push in. They're fighting a 5v6 or a 5.5.6 as Kraken is team-macked, and Sobek is able to follow up here with the kill into Breno. They're looking for the kills into the rest of the tanks and dive into the Mercy, in fact, who's hiding in the side room here, and Sobek does find that frag in the end. Bringing Kraken back into the fight gives them a lot of utility here because, the D.Va has the defense matrix once more, but they're not even going to need it because Lebowski and Sobek were just fragging out that fight. And now Face Monster is going to be finished up here, yep, and this actually is perfect for the offense because they can continue to push in here and get establish themselves on the last point.
Yeah, Lucio's kind of left with capturing the point duty because you have that speed boost. It kind of sets up to the team, and look at that, they're already establishing dominance on the point as soon as it flips.
Unfortunately, though, Breno does kill Lebowski right away. Chefs is for the res, and here comes the blade from Rasslin, looking for the frags. Does have the ball that he's got to contend with, so he backs away from the moment, but does find the kill onto Abyss, so Abyss won't be able to get back into the mech. Now Rasslin, out of the blade, is still looking for the frags in the back line here. Gets the sound barrier to keep himself alive, and he's pressuring the Zenyatta right now as well as Mercy. Has to back out because he's getting a little bit low, especially with the Discord orb, and finally is taken down, and here's the counterplay from Breno, looking to perhaps find some more success as Rasslin did fall to, but no! It's not a blade that's going to get kills. It's a zoning blade that's just going to force the offense away from the point itself. That was a very good counter push in what initially seemed like it was going to be a losing fight. I mean, half their members were down.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think the difference maker was Face Monster switching onto this Brook. And now, he wasn't in Filthy really at all during that fight, but he made some sensible plays. Face Monster stunning Rasslin when he was using the blade and also stunning the D.Va when trying to get away. So those 2 big stuns, I mean, that kind of get them off. And now they have the rally, getting everyone's arm up.
Yeah, Kai almost went down there, but he was able to get a heal from the Brigitte along with the rally, and the armor pack just doing so much. But here is the bomb on the point. Doesn't really find a whole lot there from Kraken there. Probably could have been a little better, but I understand you want to get back as soon as possible. But now you lose it once more with Rasslin down. This could be what the defense needs to push them back once more. Here, Raslin's back to the fight, but as a result, Lucio is going to go down. They want to have a speed boost, and now it's all falling like dominoes on the point. Rasslin needs to get out of here, get the heck out of Dodge as fast as he can. He's going to be able to do just what he's discorded. He needs to escape. Oh my goodness. He's an escape artist, though. He's like Houdini. You never see him come, and you never see him as he gets out. But here the offense again, looking a little bit frustrated perhaps with the lack of success they're finding as the defense here is just fight after fight, and they've got all these ultimates available to them.
Yeah, exactly. They're investing a lot of resources in these kind of losing fights, the offenses, and it's a little unfortunate. And here goes the Genji blade on the side of the defense. Ooh, the Zenyatta ults have to be invested, and I feel like that blade was essentially used to draw that ultimate out.
Yeah, that's what you want to do, because now the fight is going to be a whole lot easier, but you still have the Valkyrie to contend with. And here again is another play from Rastin, forcing out the Transcendence. Knows he's not going to get a whole lot of picks, but possibly could find one on Face Monster here. Is discorded, does go down to Pong. Boop was there for the pressure, and Abyss does use the bomb to try and pressure them in turn. Now Pong is able to avoid it, and he's just contesting right now as the Lucio is dancing around. He can't really be stopped for the most part, you know, like Lucio's always done, can't stop, won't stop. He's proving that true here and now. Arthur Denial is caught by that bomb. Very nice from Pong there to knock him up in the air where he couldn't get an opportunity to deal with that, and now this is looking like the offense is going to be able to take this fight here. You see Kai on point is going to use the Primal Rage, wants to contest and just sap the time out of them, and here is another Transcendence to counteract the Blade front there. Very well done from Lebowski and building that up very quickly. Pong is res back into the fight as a result. You know, he's able to have the healing, and now Pong is a little bit aggro here, wants to find the kill onto Abyss and just boots him off the point. And again, look at what the defense is doing. They're switching at the stall here. They've got the Moira, they've got the Brigade, they've got the Sound Barrier as well now from Pong, and they really need to just be able to find these picks and start snowballing and turning things back, because they're losing so much time here. They're 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and this fight started almost a minute 45 seconds ago. Rasslin uses the blade again, catches three rather, but there's another bomb by the offense here. He goes right into the shield, so it's not going to find a whole lot. And Pong again is just contesting as the Lucio right now, just knocking people around. Lebowski's putting himself in a weird position here where he's behind the team, but here comes the reinforcements once more for this defense. I mean, this is just crazy. This is such a long stall. This is why everyone says 2 CP low. It's this right here. Ben Reno is now on the Tracer, looking for the contest, but finds the frags, finds 2. 4v5 now on the point. Abyss is respawning, and they have the spawn advantage. And what Breno switch? This is actually going to go to the defense here. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, we pointed out earlier, the longer these fights go on, it definitely favors the defense here on point B. And look at this, they're just going to stagger kill Cricon before he even gets a chance. You know, that's a late stagger. The whole team's already ready to engage, and they don't have their diva, so that's going to be, you know, a bit rough. Ooh, look at the pressure Sobek's kind of putting on them, tasing him back, saying, get back in your position. We'll take the fight to you when we're ready to go in. But yeah, I like that fight. It was so long. It was so scrappy, back and forth. And that really does favor the defense in that situation. Their spawn is right behind the point.
Here comes Sobek, though, diving up top, gets knocked off by the whip shot, and is now converted upon by the team. Lebowski forced to invest in Transcendence, and here's another Blitzen combo. They know they don't have a counter Transcendence to deal with it, and this gives Rassler the room he needs to find 2. But Kai, now with the Primal Rage, does catch Lebowski when he wasn't expecting it, and he's knocking the team around. They are able to bring Breno back into the fight, which gives them a lot of utility with the Tracer, but he's not going to find a whole lot, especially with that bomb from Abyss to, you know, drive the offense off the point for the most part here. But again, it's looking like it's starting to shift in favor of the offense here, especially with that bomb that's going to find 2. The Mercy and Tracer are now down, and that's what you need, especially without the healing. There's no res, there's no contest. Rasslin knows it's his time to shine, and he's going to get the frags on the face monster. All they need to do is finish up Kai, and they can start to gain some percentage on this point. The Moira's there, had the coalescence to keep everyone alive, as well as doing some damage, but she knows when she's out of that, she can't survive for long. She's very pressured right now by Cricon and Rasslin here, and really needs to stay alive as much as she can. There's a bomb to find Lebowski here, and Breno is back at it again. He's trying to frag out and save this team, and he's going to do just that with Face Monster and Abyss. You better believe this is going to the defense once again. What a hold. This is crazy. They haven't even given up 2 ticks yet.
This is absolutely insane play we're seeing coming out from WildHeart. Goodness, you think they're losing their fight, and just because they have those triple support, you know, on the side of the defense, they're keeping their team alive. They have the longevity to keep it. And this is crazy. I cannot believe what I'm seeing before my eyes. These guys are holding their own, even when it seems like the tides are against them.
Yeah. I mean, really, those fights last so long. I mean, probably we're going on back when the dinosaurs were still roaming the earth, but here's Rasslin again, opening things up with the blade, but gets one, Face Monster is down to start things off, and with Brenno down as well, that could be the key that they need, the missing puzzle piece, because without Brenno, who is the fragger, in these fights, he's got the pulse bomb, has just been the one to win these fights, but now Lebowski is out of his transcendence, is being pressured by Kai. There's a bomb on the point, Kraken doesn't find anything with it, but Lebowski finds Brenno as he's coming out of the spawn, he's shutting him down, trying to keep him away. It's now OT ticking on the point. We've got 4 minutes and 56 seconds for the offense, whereas the Fracture doesn't really have anything available to them. Cerny switches over to the Lucio. They're trying it once more to stall. They don't really expect to win this fight, and they can actually afford to lose this finally, but again, the bomb onto Pong there. He's able to reflect it away, treating it like a ball from Pong, if you would, and their Face Monster is pressured at the spawn. Brenno's down as well. Finally, in overtime, Fractured is able to capture the point. That took them 4 full minutes. But they were finally able to do it, and my goodness gracious, what a fight that was.
Absolutely, going back and forth. I mean, you can't even decide a winner from like when these fights engage. Kind of, when the first two picks kind of went in, it was a little confusing because you're like, okay, well, look, that's on the side of the offense, and then all of a sudden the defense coming out of nowhere, making a great hold. So yeah, you cannot say enough about that fight. That's just two teams. That's such a high skill. Kind of good, kind of just trading, going back and forth with each other. There's not much more you could really say about it besides the fact that it's just two high level teams going back and forth, fighting for a goal, fighting for the point. And I'm excited to see this is just scrims, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to see when the stakes actually matter, how these two teams perform. Insane play.
For sure. And now we're gonna swap it back over here. We're gonna see what the Fractured can do on the defense once more. They have to hold them back for a full 5 minutes, and really, they only need one whole tick. So I expect this might not last very long here, but I mean, hey, it could be proven wrong here. Raslin's on this May, which is an interesting pick. Definitely May, a very good staller, especially when the spawns are so far away.
Exactly. Yeah, they did decide to play it out. Usually in scrims, sometimes you don't play into the second rounds. You kind of just want to, practice on this map and then move on. But they're gonna play it out. I suspect because they think also this might be a little quick because soloing for 5 minutes on Temple Point A is hard. And as I say that, there's a lot of picks going down.
Yep, 2 already. Make that 1 as he's brought back into the fight by Shasta here, and they're running this composition on the defense here with the dives, but it's very hard to dive when the offense is running a dive as well. You really get no targets because they're all over the place, moving around constantly, with Pong down and Kraken soon to follow. Shasta's found, and Sobek sent back to the spawn. This is going to be the WildHeart. Oh no, as I say that, Raslin, look at that, he's on the point looking for the contest, but Brenno. Alright, that's Hanzo 2, Genji 0 so far, if you know what I'm saying here. A little bit of Overwatch lore for you. A sibling rivalry. We all know it. We all love it. Play the game here. Going to Brenno on the Hanzo. Let's see what this is. Of course. This is when he uses the Dragon Strike on the side room here and just does so much damage and splits up the team. You saw the Zen has to retreat to spawn, and this leaves Kraken really stranded by himself on the point with no support, and as a result, that's how they were able to take the point that fast with plays like those. Brenno is definitely looking like the superstar here so far. I mean, look at that, 15,000 damage. If he and the Mercy were in a little bit of a contest, he would come out on top there. He did more damage than his own Mercy was healing. So very, very well played out of there. In that 13-minute match of Temple of Anubis, 13 minutes flat, mind you. We're going to move on to our second map. And again, WildHeart eSports there looks so good in just taking the point, taking fights that looked like they were lost, and then turning them back around.
Yeah, and I think it all just comes down to when things get a little scrappy, there's not really much you could do teamwork-wise. It all comes down to mechanical skill in the point. And, I do want to point out Brenno. It said he did 26% of this team's damage. One person on a team of 6 people did a fourth of the team's damage. So
My
yeah, he definitely was popping off like crazy. So it's gonna be a scrappy fight from here on out. I feel like between these two teams, they're so close in skill. WildHeart was definitely the victors on top there, where they were their dives were initiated well. You know, it's so coordinated. It's insane seeing these teams play. So I'm ready. I'm hyped to see the next map.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If that first map was any indication, it's gonna be pretty intense here. And we're moving on to Ilios. If there's a map that's intense, it's Ilios for sure. I love this map so much because every single every single round, every single map on Ilios is just so exciting to watch every single time. How the teams approach it, and it's always different and always fun. And I just might be a little bit biased because I'm a Lucio main.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for for those environmentals. That's why on these maps, Orisa is a very popular pick, especially on Alios Wells. That's where you'll see a lot of Orisas get in there. Roadhogs as well, what you like to call the pulled pork combination. With the Orisa Roadhog is something we'll see in here. But we're actually not going to start on Wells.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Lighthouse. I still like this map, and this map usually comes down to the Faraduels in the sky. Ilios is one of those maps that is interesting because I mean I'm just in the spectator client here. I'm holding down fly up, and I'm pretty far up off the ground here. That's why this map is so good for Farah. It's because it lets her get so much aerial height that it's very hard to deal with her. Whereas on some other maps, such as Oasis, City Center, skybox is pretty low, so Farah, has a lot harder time there just finding positions where she can do a lot of damage and not really be touched for the most part here. But on Ilios, the skyboxes are massive. They are so high up in the sky, and I mean Farah at that distance practically becomes just like a little mosquito. I mean you can't tell. It's like, is it a bird? Is it a plane? Oh, it's 130 damage rockets raining down on my face.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we don't see McCree too often, just because his damage drop off. I mean, he has gotten a buff recently, but necessarily we've always seen that kind of damage drop off come into play. That's why Widowmaker is kind of the more favorite pick, just because you can take care of the scarers. But look at this, there's no fair on either side, so
full dive it is.
Yeah, it's a dive going back and forth with each other.
Makes a lot of sense here, and now you see Fractured is running this full dive themselves, whereas the offense, or no, not the offense, WildHeart is running a bit of a more interesting comp here, a bit slower one. They're not going to be as clustered together here. They want to give their Widowmaker the space to pop off and get the picks, but when you've got the Genji pressuring you like that, there's not a whole lot you can do, but just try and deal with him for the most part. But Raslin, Arthur Denial denies him his chance to cap the point, and now the offense, Sobek has to invest the dive here just to jump on, but I mean, Sobek's already pretty low herself here and needs to get out of there as fast as she possibly can. Does find Kai, though. This could be big. The res is there, though, from Surni, but he needs to be very, very careful here that he doesn't go down himself. But Breno gets the counter pick up the Lebowski here. You saw Breno was on the Tracer last time and then was on the Genji for a little bit. But on the point itself, there's a bit of an interesting fight here. It's a fight on two fronts. Basically, you got Pong and Sobek here. Sobek did invest her Primal Rage in the fight, but here's a counter Primal Rage by Kai here, knocking Sobek around into the wall, and Face Monster on the outside finds they picked up the Shinu, and now they gotta back off the point. 33% ain't counting now for the WildHeart, as Fractured is looking a little bit frustrated here. They want to get their act together and try to retake this.
Yeah, I think it just has to come down with them initiating dive together and Lebowski finding Face Monster. That's going to be one of the biggest points of the map, just because there's no one to kind of contest them. Yeah. The Zen ult is drawn out from the Genji blade.
Yeah, Breno is looking for it here, but he doesn't find a whole lot of picks again. The Zen ult was simply too much healing, and they couldn't deal with it. Pong now opening things up with the rally to get onto the point, and he's looking for the stuns now onto the crucial targets. But the Zen is now onto the point. Could whip shot him off out the window if Pong does it, and he's going to do just that. There you go. They use the utility here, and actually does knock Arthur Denial over the edge, if I'm not mistaken. But there, down goes Kai as well. Shinu and Pong getting the environmental kills. Abyss is forced to use the bomb, but there is the defusal from the Winston. And now Abyss is found before he can get back in her mech, and Surni is forced to fly right into the fire after getting out of the flames. And now the offense of the Fractured is going to be able to cap them this point, and they can start to build percentage.
Yeah, this is something they've definitely been fighting for this whole map, but you do have to be careful. You lose this next point if you turn it over to them. They essentially only need to win one fight on defense, and Rasslin going down to Breno. Breno finding his opposite number there with the blade being popped now.
There we go, and he knows Lebowski doesn't have the Transcendence, and he's found both supports. Surgical cutting the team up into little bitty pieces. That is exactly what you need to win this fight, especially if Breno can keep finding blades like those. All they need to do is retake. They're already fighting this 4v6 with no healers, no support. Sobek can't escape, and now 80% counting for the WildHeart eSports.
Yeah, WildHeart flips it back over, and they do have to hold it, I'd say, one more time with the length these fights have been going on for. So you need to engage quickly if you're fractured. It was a little unfortunate. Sobek got staggered there at the end, but he has a lot of mobility for a main tank, so he should be on the front lines. And look, they're going to start to engage here.
Yep. Bombs at both sides, almost in sync. Not going to find anything for either side, though. But OT is on the point, and no one is there. Shinu finally gets there in the nick of time, and Abyss is forced to contest, but when you're discorded, you can't find much, and actually, you're over the edge. Abyss falling into the Abyss himself, but on the outside of the point, they're getting all the frags that they need. Breno knows, and he's just going to reset, and this is the Fractured capping things out, but they got to hold on to this very tightly. They can't afford to lose this because it's 99% for the offense.
Yeah, and it's very scary. It's very, very scary. This next fight is because Breno does have that blade along with the Transcendence of Arthur Denial. So, I mean, really, you can keep your Genji alive the whole time while he's fragging out. And Breno showed that you don't even need to heal him while he's fragging out in the back line. So, you do have to be careful. It's up to the DPS to kind of focus him and take him out before he's able to do too much damage.
But here's a blade. He checks it out, scouting for targets. And there we go. Shasta and Pong are down. There goes Lebowski. All three of the supports down now. They have absolutely no healing. There's the bomb invested, though. Now you see Kai's brought back into the fight, but it doesn't even matter because Face Monster and Breno are going to win this fight for the WildHeart eSports here. No one can contest on the side of Fractured, and this is them taking this 100 to 77% in what was a neck-and-neck Ilios Lighthouse. Let's see what the next map is, because if this starting round was any indication, it's going to be a killer map.
Yeah, definitely. Both these teams proving that they are able to kind of win fights against each other and take it over. It's gonna be Wells. Yes, you know, the map we were talking about earlier as this was coming into into the start of the map. And I feel like, you know, it just needs to be kind of ult economy should be the focus of Fractured right now, just because you know, every time they want to fight, it seems like they invest all of their resources into it. While I was pointing out earlier that WildHeart, they're smart with their ult economy, with their ult usage, saving it for a fight where they already know that they won. And by the time they go, that Fractured's on the defense, you know, they have no ults running into WildHeart, who has all the ultimates in the world. Now Raslin's going to be on this Pharah, trying to rain some damage on. They're going to run the pharmacy against them.
Yep. And again, both sides here are playing for the environmental kills. They have the pulled pork combination there. Okay, the halt went very, very far up there. I'm not sure with that one. Sobek's halt looked a little bit better. Kai might have just forgotten, to be honest, but here's Rasslin on the flank here. Sneaky Pharah looking to get kills into the backline here. But with both your supports, you lose the support of your Farm Mercy now, and your discorded Face Monster might be found here, but that might be the only pick that Rasslin's getting, and no! Face Monster goes Widow 76 and shuts down Rasslin here, and this is the Fractured losing the initial fight. WildHeart eSports can gain percentage on the point.
Yeah, it seemed like they established their dominance pretty early. It seemed like they were the one on the point before anybody else. And there's going to be a lot of stagger kills coming in here. And now it's going to be even more percent that you're losing. But it seems like they established their dominance pretty early on the point. But then by the time, you know, it seemed like, okay, we're ready to take this point. The team was so spread out, and the supports were caught out, not even with their main tanks. And that's something you want to avoid in this future, especially with the high skill level that WildHeart has.
Yep, but here, Abyss, once more, he's been the one to fall into the Abyss time and time again. First on Lighthouse, now on the Well. Breno gets shut down with the hook, but undeterred, finds the kill into Shinu, and with Lebowski and Pong down as well. The forecast said justice, and Breno is definitely delivering here with these barrages, and just the Pharah in general, finding all the picks, but Lebowski from spawn takes him out, puts an end to his reign of terror. But he's just back into the fight again. It doesn't even matter. He doesn't care. He's just back into the fight no matter what with this Mercy. He's just pocketing him. That's exactly what you want to have happen, the support from your Mercy.
Yeah, exactly. Face Monster is a little far up in comparison to where I guess you should be. Abyss is going to find Shinu, but there goes Face Monster over the side. Wrestling using that environmental to their advantage.
Yep, but gotta be really careful here for your ex-Shasta. Rasslin is gonna take advantage of the air shots and the damage in Abyss. Down you go again. Rasslin is now looking for the barrage on the side, but the Transcendence, the response was perfect from Arthur Denial, living up to his name to deny that ultimate. But regardless, they're going to be able to recap the point, and what was a beautiful play by Arthur Denial is going to unfortunately go to waste here, and Rasslin is just brought right back into the fight anyways. But regardless, what a play by Arthur Denial to just shut that down, keep himself alive. That was almost a Twitch reaction. He knew right away, and especially when you're that close. Unreal. Inhuman reactions.
My eyes were on Wrestling at that point, and you kind of see him get low. Ooh, Lebowski's gonna find the pick on the face monster. So one Widowmaker is uncontested.
Oh,
the rest is gonna come back in.
Yep. And then, but Rasslin is found, but Breno is found as well. Both Farahs down now for both sides. And like you were saying, Rasslin was getting low there. That's might be how Arthur Nile knew he was listening in. But Lebowski does find Kai here, especially when you're aided with the supercharger. And this is going to let the Fractured continue to hold on. But once more, 84% for the WildHeart here. They really only need one more cap. If you are Fractured here, you're living on a prayer. You got to hope that they don't cap this point back.
Yeah, definitely, and you don't want to have the same situation as last time, where if they take the point again, you really have one push to try to engage him. And Lebowski's gonna find a sweet shot on the face monster, uncontested now. Lebowski has the high ground. You've already pointed out how important the high ground is. Face monster's gonna come in, get a second chance to try to find Lebowski.
Yeah, but again, you have the Widowmaker pressuring the Pharah as well, and now here comes the sound barrier on the side of the defense, perhaps a little bit early here. And wise decision here from WildHeart just to wait things out, wait for it to go down. Now they've turned it into a wasted ultimate. Pong gotta not be feeling too good about that one, especially with that response from the WildHeart. Here and they begin to push in with the help of this Valkyrie. They waited for the shield to come up before using the bomb, but it's not gonna find anything. Whereas Breno contesting the high ground. Both Widowmakers down now with the respective Farahs, but Ashina once more with the bomb. The Farm Mercy is down now. This lets them continue to hold on. It's now 99% and overtime is counting down. Pong's left on the point to contest. He's got to stay here for as long as he possibly can and not let the offense recap, but Abyss does find the pick. Shinu's back and ready for more here, though. D-Mac now, you've got Rasslin raining down the rockets from above. Wants to get back into the point as soon as possible, and with Lebowski applying this pressure on the outside as well, it's looking good so far. But Rasslin is down now along with Lebowski. Face Monster and Breno, we're there once more. This DPS duo, the all-stars of this match here. My goodness, Face Monster is pressuring this poor Arisa of Sobek here. She can't get back into the point, hardly.
Yeah, no, both Mercies switching on to the Lucio, so all kills are final from here on out. And the kills are going in the favor. It's overtime. They're going to try to touch this point.
Rasslin switching over to the Doomfist, finds Arthur Denial. That's a bit of a huge pick here because you don't have the Discord, you don't have the Harmony, but it's still overtime. They haven't gotten the momentum from that. And here's Breno just locking things down with the blade. Down falls Shinu. And with that, the WildHeart eSports take Ilios 2-0 in a very, very close match.
Very close, especially that second map. You can't even say, one team convincingly won. It was very, very close. She was going to get the play, and I'm assuming this is the big bomb that kind of, actually, no, this could be an environmental. Yep, this will be, it seems to be an environmental. Then they get a triple kill, it looks like. Yep, there goes everyone, and that was when they were able to flip the point, but they weren't able to hold it, as WildHeart eSports came out swinging in here.
Yeah, absolutely. They floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee here. And we are actually going to back out here, and we're going to play the third round of Ilios here on Ruins. Do not be deterred, but it's understandable. Scrims are a weird rule set, and I can't remember it half the time here. I actually don't know if we are going to play. I don't think WildHeart eSports cares for the most part. Maybe, possibly, but if not, then we'll just move on to our next map here, which I'll be interested to see, and so far, yep, there we go. Kings Row. Makes a lot of sense. But Fractured and WildHeart eSports here. Fractured definitely looked not as strong on Temple of Anubis as they did here on Ilios. They looked way, way better in just being able to take control of the point itself and find the rest of the picks that they needed to start swinging the momentum back in their side. But regardless, WildHeart eSports still comes out on top. And moving on to Hybrid now, where you cap the point and push the payload. Pulse, what do you expect to see, and what does Fracture need to do to start winning the fights?
From my analysis, really the only thing I could find a difference in between these two teams is that WildHeart eSports is kind of I pointed out earlier, has better ult economy usage. They know when to use it, and I can't even point out how great that Arthur Denial Transcendence was. the Pharaoh flew so close to the ground, and he kind of read her like a book. Honestly, it was so good. It was such a good read, and just that ult usage, saving up for the opportunities to kind of counter the enemy ult usage. Because it seems like Fractured, once they have the ult usage and they find like even the slightest opportunity, they'll use their ultimates. Now, WildHeart Esports is also playing together better as a team. I feel like once team fights start, they're moving together as a unit, while Fractured is kind of getting a little more spread out. They kind of depend on the single hero plays. And when the team gets so spread out like that,
Right.
I kept my eyes on the support a little bit, and it kind of just bounced around. So,
I mean, they're fractured, playing a little bit fractured, perhaps.
exactly, yeah.
Kings Row, though, again, say it every time it comes up, which is every single game, by the way. But this is a fan favorite map, and Arisa Diva. Oh no. Oh, okay. This is a little bit different here. Usually you run the Arisa Diva defense with the Junkrat and the Widowmaker, but no. This defense is going to be running the triple tank, actually, with the Hog as well. So you have the pulled pork and then the Diva, and then you have the Wrestling here on the Hanzo. Looking for the pressure, perhaps, with the Storm Arrows on the point. This is a little bit interesting here. I haven't really seen this comp a whole lot. I'm interested to see how they play this, if they want to run it like the stock Arisa Diva defense, or if they're going to play this differently.
It does seem like they're gonna try. The tanks are gonna take the high ground at least. The rest of the team isn't quite with them at the moment. I also am curious to see what's going on. Rastan is gonna join them, but the supports are down there all by themselves. So a little odd. I'll see how this works out.
This is kind of how you play the Arisa Diva defense as well. So, they're trying things out here. But again, you don't really have a whole lot of shield pressure with Pong here, as opposed to the Junkrat. And Lebowski is the first to be found. Shasta might be able to go for the res here. Really depends. But no, he's actually in an unresable position by the gate here. And taking advantage of that, Arthur Denial is going to move over there. But Face Monster again setting up in a position where he can find the value as this Widowmaker here on the side. And with Shinu down, Rasslin soon to follow. Pong not long for this world as well, along with Sobek here. Has to take a breather and turn himself into a bit of an ult battery here. Shasta needs to get out of there. Does almost get the res off onto Rasslin, but Breno knows and is going to shut him down before that. So this is a good first take here from WildHeart Esports there. What exactly made it so they could win that fight?
I'm a little confused because after they dropped down from the port, the supports were down there on the floor by themselves. They were the only ones not up there. Then your Zenyatta and Lebowski dies, and then Shinu flies off apart from the rest of the team, trying to take on 2 DPS all by himself. So yeah, I was a little confused what the strategy was there. The dragon gets eaten.
Shinu! Goodness gracious, eating that ultimate. I didn't even see that one coming. That was a surprise for sure, but a welcome one, if you guys catch my drift here, with some pretty cool memes throwing him out. But Face Monster does find Rasslin. He is able to get res now, and Lebowski's being pressured right now by a Face Monster. Actually, vice versa. Face Monster was being pressured by Lebowski and is actually finished off by the Battle Mercy, using the Valkyrie there in that fight just to win things out. And again, 5v6 or 6v5, now 6v4, now 6v3. Fractured finally getting themselves together here, looking for the stagger picks though.
Yeah, this is the team play I kind of want to see them. Look, they're all sticking behind the Reinhardt shield. They're all moving together as a unit, and this is the play I was kind of hoping to see on the first point, but it didn't seem like they were together at all. It looks like they were all separated. Shinu kind of went off on a solo mission, but now finally sticking together, Shinu was able to eat the dragon, and there goes a Hanzo ult that they didn't have, and now you have the dragon. Fractured has the dragon, and you can use it to your advantage.
Oh, hold on here. Abyss looks like, yep, they've got the Grab Dragon combo available to them. They could use it, but again, they're being pushed back once more. They could be going for a bit of a bait and switch here with Abyss and letting them push in before using the Grab, but it doesn't seem like it. Abyss needs to retreat into the side room here.
Yeah, definitely Breno being found there, so it's going to be a full-on restart. They're putting a lot of pressure. They're also trying to get another stagger kill, but you need to be careful. You are entering their territory where they are safe, so maybe back out just a little bit and wait for them to come to you again. But yeah, these are some great staggers. All teams practically have all 6 ults, so I'm assuming we're about to see, since this is some NA play, we're going to see some Q pressing here.
All right, let's look at this. Here's the Dragon Strike. They know that they're all in this top hallway and want to do some damage to them. This is actually interesting, the approach that the offense is taking here. But Abyss, look at this. Watch Abyss's positioning. Looks for the grab, and you saw the whole hog is actually going to boost them into it. And here's the Dragon Strike to follow up, but the Transcendence is there to counteract it. Kai knocks them flat on their back, however, with the Earth Shatter. Abyss is brought back into the fight, and there is Pong being brought back as well. Just ignore that kill feed. There's a counter shatter now from Sobek, finding them all, and Pong does find Arthur Denial as well. They need to catch it. X Shasta. There you go, establishing dominance over Cerny on the Mercy, finding that pick. And again, wow, I thought that was definitely going to go towards the WildHeart eSports there with that initial pick. Or no, not the initial pick, with the initial combo that had going. But again, after the buff to, or the nerf rather, to Mercy, where she can no longer damage boost the dragons, you saw that a lot of times that's what happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun watching the top of the screen and all those check marks get put back to 0%. It was just kind of back to back to back. Essentially, Zenyatta Ultimate kind of canceled the usage of two ultimates, the Zarya and the Hanzo. So there goes two ultimates, and all you really had to do was just out-survive the other team. That's really the goal in an ultimate usage war like that. The only one who has ult left is Arthur Denial. He didn't pop the Transcendence in that fight. Now he's going to pop it and now try to get them to engage.
Wants to push forward with it, and there we go. It is a Earth Shatter, but Sobek charges out from their side room, was looking to get a bit of an ambush play, but it's not going to pan out in the end. The best laid plans sometimes do, unfortunately, go to waste, and now again they're pressuring the spawns. Love the aggression from them, letting them push the cart forward even more. Shinu's got to be careful, does find the health pack, and he's going to be able to survive for the most part here. And they, if you're the offense, you want to build up your ultimate so you can have that combo available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. The Barrett's gonna start building up some ultimate usage right here on the offense. They're gonna start. They're in the final turn. They made that the big turn around the corner, and this is where fights could get a little scrappy. Defense could hold this for a while if they're able to take this, just because the spawn is so far. For the offense, the shatter is negated by Kai's shield. And oh no, the Transcendence wasn't able to heal him in time.
Unfortunate, and X-Shasta's found through the barrage. It does more damage than the Transcendence could heal, and Lebowski knows it, has to back out here. He needs to be very careful that he doesn't get found himself, and Pog is batted down by Kai. Lebowski again backing out once more, but again, the pressure from Abyss here, I love this.
Yeah, it's taking the role that you need to be taking and just kind of moving up when the rest of your team is still kind of recovering from that cart. The spawn does move very, very close now to this initial point, but the spawn advantage still favors the defense. So there's only 2 minutes left, and this is an absolutely winnable position. You just need to know when. Ooh, this could be a team.
Yeah.
Oh no, never mind.
Yeah, Wrestling looks for the counter pick, and they didn't really have a whole lot of ultimates on the side to combo with it. Breno is now close to the barrage. He's gonna have this, but needs to be careful he doesn't get taken down, especially with this Shinu, this diva. It's on you constantly. Very hard to do anything, but here you got Face Monster looking for the blade again. There's a shatter from Kai. Not gonna find anything once more. The shatters have not been completely on point from either side, but that's understandable, especially with this Rhine play. I think they're very close together in terms of skill, and Fractured is beginning to become fractured themselves. They're kind of falling apart here. They need to get themselves together and get some picks if they want to be able to hold this one out, but it's very hard to do that when both of your tanks are down. Shinu's now walking back out into the mech, but regardless, I think they actually just might win this one out. You saw Kai did go down, and Sobek is back out. The spawn advantage is there, but there's no one to follow up on it. That grab is going to go to waste.
Oh no, yeah, the Graviton does go to waste. No combination to kind of skip it. Lebowski does have the Transcendence, and as I said, it's going to be instantly popped. Sobek has that shatter along with the Dragon, so this could be a fight in the favor of the defense. Just wait out the Transcendence, use the shatter, and as I said, that's right on cue. Oh, but the offense is in their favor.
Face Monster with the blade is going to catch Lebowski, and here's another shatter coming up from Kai. It's not going to find a whole lot, and Sobek a little bit confused there. Ryan's shatter is, as we all know, a little bit buggy, and as a result, what may have just cost them this this round is some bugs in the system, flaws in the matrix. And we look at the time bank here, 43 seconds, not perhaps the best time bank, but still good nonetheless.
Yeah, if they were to play, a second round, sometimes these teams play it out. It is going to be round up to a minute, so a minute is essentially what they have. If the enemy team if Fractured is able to take it all the way, then once they move on to that second round, they'll have 1 minute in that time bank. But honestly, great improvement from Fractured. In the first map, it seemed like they were definitely getting overwhelmed. They couldn't handle the kind of energy that was coming out of the gate, and I feel like that's the key for WildHeart eSports, that right out the gate, a lot of teams, especially if it's the first match in a scrim, they're not going to be all warmed up at all, but right out the gate, WildHeart eSports comes out swinging. Uh, so now with this, they're all warmed up and they're kind of matching the intensity. You know, while they did take it all 3 points, this is an entirely winnable situation for Fractured. They
Yeah,
just need to
completely.
perform at. They just need to perform at the level they've been performing at. And you know, we've seen some insane plays, especially from wrestling. You know, whether he's playing the Genji, the Hanzo, no matter what, the Pharah. You know, we see him perform at a level and he needs to be performing at. So yeah, great job.
If we look at the defense's comp here, they're actually going to be running the same thing that the offense was, you know, this triple tank, but instead of the Hanzo, they have the Junkrat, and they're actually going to be running the single healer as well with Face Monster here on the taking the role of the Widowmaker. Looking to shut down the offense perhaps, but look at what they've got. The triple tank, triple support, Ghost comp. We've come to know and love this composition here, but they're going to be really hard pressed pushing into all this spam damage, and they get on the point as fast as they possibly can, and they're going to do just that, but Face Monster draws first blood. Exchesta is found, and with a Moira down, you lose a whole lot of healing. It's the opposite of a whole lot of damage, and here you go. You got Kai. It's going to be actually just kind of, you know, just ignores Lebowski as he moves on right past and catches Breno, and their Face Monsters found as well. They're able to res Breno because he was in a good position, and now you see they've kind of switched sides here, where the offense is now looking like the defense, whereas the defense is switched into a position where they need to wrench control of the point back from the offense here, and they're just finding the picks that they need. Lebowski opened things up with that kill onto Breno, and if there is a way you want to take this point and counteract that Risa, you know, Diva defense on the high ground, it's when you all move in as a unit and find the picks like they just did right now, and they just want to move again, but Face Monster shuts down Pong as he was jumping around like a little bit frog here. Face Monster puts an end to him, and now this is going to give, you know, a little bit of a wrench in the gears of the offense here.
Yeah, definitely. Honest, but still props to the offense right now. Fractured showing the teamwork I was hoping they'd show earlier, and performing at the level they need to be performing at, just as I was saying before the match. Ooh, that Sonic or that Widowmaker ult is going to make everyone visible, so they know where everyone is at this point, and so no more sneaky tricks.
Yeah. Shadow on the front line, again, not going to find anything from Sobek there. And Kai actually does go down. They had the stun from the Brigitte as well as the damage that she does, and the Inspire as well. So much healing. And now, 5v6 they're fighting here, especially with the Rhine down. That's a huge pick. This gives the offense, you know, again, the room that they need to start to gain some more ground here, but they're being pressured by Breno right now. I hear the Widowmaker of Face Monster here looking for the flank on the side. There's a grab on the front lines here from Shinu, and with the Coalescence as well, it catches Abyss, perhaps when he wasn't expecting it, especially not to get solo grabbed here. This fight is kind of all over the place here. It's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, it is a little scrappy, but I would have liked them to hold on to that Graviton, just because, you know, the fight was, they were already in retreat. You only use the Graviton to be like, nope, you're not going anywhere, and then to finish off some people, but the fight was already winnable, and really you want to use that for a situation, but look, this fight's still not done. They're still putting the pressure on them, even though the card has barely started making its way into the point 3.
Yep, that's exactly what you want to do, because now you know they won't be able to fight around this first corner. They have to let the cart move all the way around this next corner, and Kai's coming up very close here onto a Earth Shatter, but Sobek is as well. The Ryan's definitely going to be watching for the cerebral play between the two of them, the mind games, the debates that we've come to know and expect, but Sobek is caught off guard by Kai. That Shatter was huge, but the sound barrier was able to deny the damage for the most part. Lebowski does go down, an unfortunate victim perhaps of Breno here, who still has the barrage, and all the eggs, or rather the ultimates, are on the side of the defense here. They've got 5 in the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of longevity that could happen here, and you know, this fights have been anything, they have been long. And ooh, look at this.
There's a grab, but the barrage is there. Finds 2. Pong was the first one to go down. A little interesting. Okay, Face Monster does go down as well, or finding Exchasta as well. That was 3 ultimates on the side of the defense here.
Yeah, maybe need to use the dragon.
Maybe didn't need to use the Valkyrie as well, you know.
Right.
But regardless, the offense is pushing back, and Kai, look at that. Kai's almost got another shatter. Feels like he just used it. Oh my goodness! Shut down by Lebowski, and Rasslin opened things up with a bomb. 2 kills right away with a grab as well. They're looking to take things out. Kai and Abyss and Arthur Denial are caught here. Shinu wants to finish him off, and Lebowski as well is looking for the kill into Abyss here, waiting for the stun to come off a cooldown. And Abyss looking very low HP here, has the personal bubble, but the team is just converging upon him. They're playing him a funeral dirge, and he's sent now back to the spawn. Face Monster's got to contest things to deal with on the point as they're pushing things over. They've got such a large time bank, but here comes Breno in the back line, trying to one-clip X Shasta, but Pong is there for the denial. Notices Breno on the flank and puts a stop to it before he can find anything. Boops him aside again, and here comes the shadow from Sobek, trying to lock them out. In the spawn is actually walking closer to the spawn doors than ever. X Shasta drops the coalescence on the point, wants to do the damage. Cernine needs to be very careful, and there's a Dragons from the spawn room trying to get them off the payload, but is it gonna be enough? It doesn't seem like it, because Sobek and Shinu are finding the picks. 2 meters left on the point, and Kai is able to get there in the nick of time, but it's not enough to contest for long. And now the Fractured win this with such a large time advantage. Very, very well played from them, and it was all on the fact that the defense used too many ultimates.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have all this time now, and that ultimate usage, that's the thing that was the key to winning the fight. Fractured kind of learning from their mistakes in the past, and I love this. You love to see a team that can adapt, and that's what Fractured is showing right here, is that they're able to kind of adapt and learn how to use these certain things to their advantage. Now remember, they did not finish in overtime. They finished with 43 seconds, so their time gets rounded up to a minute, and they don't need to just defend the first tick. They do have the option of going all the way and capping these points. It's going to be up to the defense to have a better defense than they did last time. I was a little confused about how they were playing last time, and the comp definitely isn't the same at all. I feel like every single person's playing a different hero than they were last time. They were running Mercy Zenyatta on the support line, and then they were running the Orisa Diva, and the only thing that's really same from the last comp is that Diva. So this is a brand new, fresh comp. They're just going to kind of hold the point on the front lines. They're not going to take any high ground whatsoever. They only have to hold it for a minute, so they're ready to take the fight right to them.
Absolutely. Interesting that the defense chooses to run the scouts.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like they don't want to mess with any. They don't want to be cute. They don't want to take the high ground or anything. They're just gonna try to take the stuff out to them. But Face Monster's gonna find Pong.
There we go. Face Monster opening things up, opening things wide for the offense here. And now they've already established control onto the point. They know they can't contest because you lose your Lucio, you lose the coordination that comes with the speed boost. And Brastlin almost goes down there. Lebowski is found, however, by Breno on the front lines here. And Face Monster still on the side is applying the pressure. Chooses to go Widow 76 for the time being to try and get Sobek out of there, because really doesn't have a whole lot of solid shots here. And again, WildHeart said it himself. They're out of time. They got to keep pushing here. It's 20 seconds left on the point, and they're being driven off now by the offense there, by the defense for the most part. Sobek is back in action, close to the shatter here, but again, Breno is just going uncontested right now. They don't really have a hit scan to deal with him, and now here comes Breno with a barrage to find Sobek and X Shasta, and this is going to let the offense cap the point, but they cannot dilly-dally. They got to get the wheels moving, and they got to keep them moving, because it's OT. They will not get any more time. All you got to do if you're Fractured here is win one fight.
Yeah, essentially one fight, get them off the point, and then you can start making your progress to try to win it out here on this map. They do have 3.5 minutes. That time being more than triples the time that WildHeart had. So you definitely have the advantage in your hands. You just have to win it out here, and you want to stop their progress as soon as you can. And they still have no answer for Breno.
Yeah, Sobek here has the shatter, but Kai does as well. And again, watch out for the cerebral play that we're going to see from the Reinhardts here. They want to bait the other into dropping their shield. That might have been it, but no, they're not going to take advantage of it for the most part. They're the shatter. Now a counter shatter. X Shasta is knocked flat on her back, and the Moira loses some utility for the time being, but again, tosses the healing orb out. OT almost went down there. Abyss was able to get on it just in time, and Kai as well. Here's a Graviton Surge. They're all caught. Is there going to be enough damage, though? It just looks like there might be enough healing, but a Coalescence now dropped from X Shasta as well as a Sound Barrier is going to keep everyone nice and healed up. Breno is found, and now they're looking for the frags onto Abyss and Cerny, the only ones left on the point, as well as Arthur Denial. There it goes, down goes Cerny. Arthur Denial assassinated, and Abyss is found as well. There's the bomb, and this point is looking slated for Fracture to take this. It's just around the corner. They can practically taste the victory.
Yeah, this is a great improvement we've seen from that Temple of Anubis map. They were not able to win too many fights against WildHeart, but now they're kind of proving. I said it earlier. They're adapting, learning their enemy, and if you're gonna do that during any time, doing it during a scrim is definitely when you want that to happen, and that's just kind of how these fights go. the scrims is where you want to practice and get better and better, and learning your opponent, showing that they can learn their opponent when the matches actually matter. This is a skill that they could always keep in their back pocket and use it to their advantage.
Yeah.
Now on the defense, a very common defense we see, usually we see the Widowmaker, but Breno's going to stick on the comfort pick of Farah. So the defense looks rather normal, except for they're not running a Reset Diva on the tank line. They're gonna stick with this Ryan Zarya, so it seems like they also want to take the fight kind of to them. They're gonna hold the high ground for a little bit, but I'd imagine as soon as they get close, they drop down. They won't hold the high ground as long as like a Reset Diva does.
Look at these shenanigans in the spot here with Sobek. Sobek grappled onto the billboard, and the next Shasta was on Bastion and just spinning it. But this Ghost comp on the offense is looking very, very nice to just steamroll right in and get the momentum. But again, they gotta watch out for Breno here. They might just want to win the ground war and ignore, the aerial duel. And here comes the pressure from Wrestling, diving onto the high ground, trying to force the tanks off. Not gonna find a whole lot. Shasta's got to be careful that doesn't go down here. But Kai is now pressuring the point along with Abyss, and the rest of the offense is beginning to get themselves set up here. You see the charge come out from Kai there. Does catch Sobek, but Sobek had the bubble, and with Breno down first of all, this is looking very good for the offense here. Cerny is found, and Kai soon to follow as well. Abyss is forced to contest really by himself, has the personal bubble, and has it no longer, so it's going to be quickly finished off. And Sobek with a double fire strike, picking up 3 in this fight. And now what they need to do is move on forward and gain as much ground as they can and try to prevent the offense, or try to prevent the defense rather, from be able to contest this point right away, and they're going to do just that.
Yeah, exactly. The point's going to try to come out of this garage real quick, and X Shasta is on point duty, so that point will get moving. Ooh, look at the pressure they're putting on him.
They're waiting for Lebowski to get a shield bash, perhaps, and let Sobek the opportunity to get the shatter up. But here's the tire. It's going to be flanking around for Face Monster here, looking for the kills, finds 2. Chinu and Pong both found, and now the offense is going to be pushed back for the time being, but they got 2 minutes and 14 seconds. There is no reason to fret here. They got all sorts of time available and all sorts of ultimates.
Exactly, they have 3 or 4 fights left in them, essentially, in this push. So there is no rush. They just need to get on this point and establish their dominance again with the Ghost comp. I feel like that's easy to establish the dominance. Shasta's going to use the Coalescence.
Sobek snuck right past the shield and drops the shatter in the back line. Now trading both sides. Cerny is down first off. This is what it all comes down to. This fight for the defense here. They know they cannot lose, and if Kai is going to be able to get picks like those onto Shinu and Wrestling as well, they're going to be able to find this. Sobek now soon to follow, and they invested the shatter. They invested the grab for the offense here. This is not looking too good now. The momentum is starting to shift back forward. The defense here, as they have the tire who's been built up already. They'll almost have the shatter. They'll have the Valkyrie, whereas the offense only has got the sound barrier.
Yeah, exactly. Here comes the tire to try to delay this even more. Gonna try to find some stagger kills. It's up to the offensive fight's coming right down Main Street, and Sobek is gonna fire strike it. What a play!
Sniped out of the air, and now the offense needs to push in. Nice try. That shatter is gonna be parried, Kai, by Sobek, and here comes the sound barrier to engage, but no, he's gonna be shut down as he's using it. Kai's gotta be careful though, because you're being pressured by Lebowski, but Breno is there. He's got his back, but the point is creeping ever so closer. Ooh. With a huge shatter by Sobek, knocking them all down. Everybody dead except for Cerny, who's left on the point, and you can't 1v6 as the Mercy, or even as Breno here on the Hanzo. And Fracture is going to be able to take King's Row. Breno using his ultimate there. Unlucky. Fracture winning this out. Very, very nice on this King's Row. Wow, some nice red smoke in the background there from that dragon.
Yeah, Lebowski, you getting the play on Zenyatta.
Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very, very intense play. Fragging out like crazy. Gonna save his team here with the Transcendence. That dragon's gonna negate all that damage, and once he comes out of this, he's gonna find the frag. Oh, well, I thought he was gonna find the frag on the
off camera. He found the frag.
Yeah. So intense play. Look at that, X Shasta almost doing 30,000 healing. 32% of the damage taking was negated because X Shasta was on that healing roll.
Yeah, and you saw that Zenyatta there, 5,000 Transcendence healing as of overall, as the 11,000 healing overall. So that's very, very good healing out of him in the Transcendences. Shows you he's getting the value. That's what you want to watch out for on the Zen. A, how fast can they build their Transcendence? And B, how fast can they find a situation that gives them the value?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we saw in that play of the game there, Lebowski hopping on that opportunity when to use those transcendents. And we've seen some great plays coming out from both sides of the Zenyatas, Arthur Denial and Lebowski, showing that they are playing at this high tier. Now we're going to move on to another control map. We're going to move on to Lijiang Tower.
All right, Li Jiang, another control. We saw Ilios earlier, and I'm excited to see what Li Jiang Tower is going to bring to the table. Another boot map, of course, is Li Jiang Gardens, as we all have come to know and love.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love this kind of. You've seen it from every single map. The fight's getting closer and closer. The first map it was a complete one-sided victory. Then after that, they brought the fight to them. They still Fractured still lost the fight, but they're still
Oh,
bringing it back. And after that, oh,
might not be Li Jiang here. It could actually be going to Route 66.
oh yeah, these teams are still trying to figure out
Wednesday.
what they want to play. But still, I love how just constantly every single map we see Fracture bring the fight closer and closer. And then on the last map, they finally were able to pull out the W there, and that's just the improvement you see over and over again.
For sure, Fracture, slow starters, but he's getting things back going. Or he, no, they, Fracture is getting things back going here, and we're just yeah, team's definitely really just going through here, deciding. All right, what are we gonna be? What map are we gonna be playing? It's Route 66. There we go. Pulse, walk us through Route 66. What do we expect from these teams?
Route 66, the North American map, the NA map.
NA map.
NA map, lol. So this is an escort map. It's absolutely a map that I feel like is another one of those maps that's a little more versatile. Sometimes it's not like a solid absolute comp. Like if you're playing Watchpoint Gibraltar and you don't run Winston Diva, that's where people start turning their heads. They're like, what? Like why not Winston Diva there? But Route 66, I feel like that has more a little bit more leeway in, like, obvious comps. No, there's no 100% obvious comps. Clearly, there's meta. Pharah is a very fan favorite pick. This is a very often we see Pharah Widowmaker. But you know what? Never mind. I'm just gonna stop talking because we can't.
No one even knows what map this is going to be. I don't think even the teams know what it's going to be. But again, what I want to tell you, you know what they're prepping for? They're prepping for the open division. That's coming up soon, and
That's right.
sign-ups for season 3 of it are going to be opening up or no, not are going to be open up. They are already open. So if
Yep.
you're looking out there with the teams, you have a team, bang, you got to get in there. You got to sign up because, I mean, if we're
Exactly.
seeing this gameplay, these could be teams you might be going up against. And if this talent is anything give you an indication, then it's going to be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And these teams are showing that they have that kind of open division potential. And if you want to keep climbing and climbing, making your way to contenders, you do gotta hop on that team. Esports is kind of growing ever so slightly, more and more, until Overwatch League came around. They kind of mainstreamed it. Now it's on TV. You can turn on your TV, sit down, watch it with your mom and pop, sit down on the couch, enjoy some Overwatch on the TV. And we are going to go to Watchpoint Gibraltar, so forget everything I said about Route 66. But if you want to get into this esports division, try to just form a team or find a team that has an opening to your skills, and hop on some open division, because esports has never been in a better place. But right now we're
Absolutely.
concentrated on the scrim and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Now I'm going to pass it over to my Watchpoint Gibraltar expert friend here, Rian.
Yes, absolutely. This is probably my favorite map in the game. This map is all about the cerebral play and executing your dives properly and with precision. And we're going to see teams initially hold the high ground closer towards this the bridge, where it starts to dip underneath, and they're going to rotate back over to the blue box. This is actually the best Watchpoint Gibraltar strategy, and if we're going to watch these teams fight, it's all about going to be control for different zones. In the first push, it's going to be the blue box. Then, when you move into the second phase, it's going to be the jet, or the spaceship, whichever one you call it. I think it looks like a jet, so I call it a jet. Some people call it a spaceship. No one even knows what it is. Apparently, it's called the Lieutenant. Oh wait, no, that's the name of the person who flies it. It is the Aurora.
Aurora OSS 7.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's a Watchpoint Gibraltar. Yeah, a little lore for you guys as a is a former Overwatch ship that I guess they just left around. It looks like millions of dollars to me, but after Overwatch got canceled, they kind of just left it here. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Unlucky. I mean, you have the voice line from Tracer, like, oh, I think I left some of my gear in my locker here, but again, here we go. Here comes the tea party from the offense. Look at that. Just pressuring this room. No one's gonna find anything. But yes, Sobek. Where is Sobek? Okay, you're looking a little bit hidden here. A little crafty. Want to get a little cheeky with this one. Gonna get the pressure from the side, and they've set them up in a bit of a pincer here. Sobek is finally found out, though, has to drop the bubble. And just pressures Arthur Denial. They don't have healing, actually. This is perfect. Sobek, that's actually a really interesting strategy. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Pressuring the supports at the spawn by Sobek and letting the rest of your team get the picks here. But Face Monster is going to take a shot to the face, or find a shot to the face onto Rasslin there. But they're able to bring him back to life here. So, not a whole lot going. Payload going to slowly inch backwards here.
Yeah, and I feel like Sobek kind of hiding those rocks. I feel like it was a nature documentary. You know, we see the gorilla in their natural habitat stalking some prey. So that's definitely what Sobek was trying to do. Now he's going to retake the high ground. The dive does initiate.
Oh, that bubble!
But Kai falls.
Unlucky. Both Winstons down. However, this could be what the offense or the defense needs. It's all about how they execute this. And with Shinu finding the bomb kill onto Arthur Denial and then moving over to pressure the point, it's looking pretty good for the defense so far. Abyss needs to be very careful. It doesn't get demacked. Has the Harmony Orb and the Mercy healing, but it's not enough. And Abyss, again, stop falling over the edge. Abyss, it's always you who gets environmental. It's just, it's the name. The name is befitting, perhaps, here. A little bit goofy, but here you got Breno again with a blade. Finds Shasta to start things off. Is the only one he's going to find, however, because this lets them begin to push the cart. And now Rasslin, there's a team. Okay, holding the server room for the most part here. Sobek wanted to grab the health back, but Lebowski's found they're not even going to get a chance to rotate back up to the blue box. They're forced to get themselves in a bad position and dive out of the server room. And Sobek is really going to be found here, especially with that anti-nade. By Ana finding the value in that pick. Beautiful. And now the defense needs to reset very quickly because they're just getting snowballed right now by this offense here. They're locking them down and they really have no room, no quarter. Lebowski taken down by Breno. Wait a minute. Brenji? Wait a minute. Is this the legendary Brent? No, it can't be. It can't be our OWL analyst here because he's flat.
Okay.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Right, yeah. You know, the teams are going to start to engage here, and I love the play that's coming out from the offense. You know, they were getting staggered a little bit at the beginning, but now they're finally making their way in, and the Diva Bomb's going to get in the back line, spreading out.
Not going to find a whole lot.
Exactly, yeah, not going to find a whole lot, but it is spreading with Lebowski. Kai is trying to open it up for the defense.
Yeah, Kai found two, but Lebowski does find Arthur Denial. Defense trying to push them back, but I don't know if he can with Face Monster finding picks like those, and Arthur Denial is just brought right back into the fight. Rasslin here, watch out for him. He's flanking. Oh no! Breno with a long-range shuriken is going to take him down, one to the face, but Rasslin needs to be brought back into the fight here because he's got the blade, needs to find the value, but he's not going to be able to because he's just being so pressured by the Winston right now. They know it, and he's getting discorded as well. He's got really no room to work with here, but they're contesting the point nonetheless. This is now his chance. He's going to pop the blade, looking for the picks onto Arthur Denial. He finds it, but here's a counter blade from Breno in the back himself, looking for the frags to even out the fight. Arthur Denial is found. Shinu is found. Face Monster is brought back in. It did get down from Shinu here, and now that they are back in the fight, they're trying to even things out. Numbers advantage definitely on the side of the offense here, but the defense has the spawn advantage themselves. Breno finds two. Looking for more. He's hungry like the wolf, trying to always get those picks to get those juicy dash resets, and now all they need to do is stagger out the Zenyatta here of Pong. He got the bad spawn. If I was him, I would just jump off the edge, but no, he's on a little bit of a mission himself, a fragging mission. Oh, tactical feed. Oh, finds Face Monster, actually. They do res him, though.
It's gonna be a res used when it was an attempt to be a tactical feed, but so it's gonna be a restart for Pong, going back to that spawn room, getting ready once again. And this defense, this is where stuff on Watchpoint Gibraltar goes back and forth, just because the defensive spawn is so favored, but Face Monster's gonna find Lebowski, and that'll might open it up for the offense in.
Doesn't find anything, but Kai does catch Pong. Pong cannot build towards that Transcendence, whereas Arthur Denial can now secure his. There's a Primal Rage, though, trying to take him down, wants to prevent that trans or perhaps force it out, but it's not going to get a whole lot of value. There's a bomb. Arthur Denial He's staying alive right now, like the old BGs would sing about, and he's coming around the corner now, looking for the frags onto the sight line, long way to the point. And if we look over here, we see Breno pop the blade. Did catch the DMAC on to Shinu, and Kai did finish him off, and here's the body block coming out from the WildHeart eSports. They want to prevent them from getting out of the spawn, but undeterred, Sobek is out of the gates. Shasta has to get there, and now the Mercy can't contest for long. He knows that himself. Pong is knocked away. The Lucio was able to get back out here. Shinu making the switch over, and now wants to contest, stay alive once more, mimicking what Arthur Denial was doing earlier, but it's just not going to pan out in the end, and they're not going to be able to keep the point for long there. Sobek trying to come out at the end, but it's simply not long enough, and now a time bank that is very, very solid. If we look at the numbers here, they've got 2 minutes and 46 seconds left, and they've capped all three. Very nice.
Very, very nice. I mean, they're performing. Their performance here is looking very solid. They're looking to play together as a team. We mentioned it earlier in scrims. Sometimes you could mess around and try some unique, niche comps that aren't the meta. But it seems like they've been kind of running the meta strategy, in all of these maps, and they're perfecting what they're gonna do, and these guys look scary to go against. The WildHeart eSports is definitely definitely trying to like perform at the level that they can. They're performing at the max level, so that once they kind of get to that open division where things get very, very serious, they can perform at that high level.
For sure, and that is what the teams want to do here. They want to prep for the open division because, like I said before, it's coming up soon. It's going to open up, and if there's teams that want to get their names out there, winning the open division is one of the best ways to do it. And again, the dive defense on, self-explanatory on the defense here. And this Genji is a little bit interesting. Usually, double sniper is viable here, but I do like this pick on the Genji. It allows them to apply the pressure, and as we've seen so far from both Breno and Raslin's play, very good Genjis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those two, I feel like Breno and Rasslin have been going for each other's throats this whole time. I mean, their hero pools seem very, very similar, and those are the two that have kind of always been trading to go back and forth. They are going to ice up on this high ground right here, but you got to watch out because there is a Widow Mine, and now whoever ran into that is going to be seen for the rest of them. But, it's okay. They're just going to do the tea party, exchange some pleasantries.
Interesting that Sobek chose to use the bubble here, but I guess she'll have it off cooldown by the time they want to dive again, so it makes a little bit of sense. And here, you see the dive. They're trying to stage here. They're looking for their opportunity, and they're just going to be able to push it right under the bridge here. No real engagement coming off. Finally, there it is, but Kai's bubble is going to fall down once more. You saw that on the offense as well. And he is going to be finished off by Shinu, but Face Monster finds Shasta in the back. That could be the bigger pick, but once more, they have, as usual, the spawn advantage on their side, and Shinu has set up himself in a pretty bad position here. He's going to get DMAC'd and pay for it as a result, but Sobek is still applying the pressure on the front line, so he's got Shinu's back. He can cover him here, and Sobek wants to pressure those front lines, especially as this Winston here, because, as we've seen, her Winston play is very good, and if she keeps things up, it's now converged upon by the offense, but both Winstons now down. You see Cerny looking for the res, but so low, and Shinu did find the pick. And now with Cerny down and with the spawn advantage swinging on the offensive side here for the most part now, it's a little bit more even as we creep ever closer to this first point. No one's even going to get a chance here. I've talked about the blue box and how teams usually hold there, but this engagement has just been a little more interesting to see how these teams play this out. They actually don't even hold the blue box at all, and they just go for pure, raw, unadulterated aggression. And now this defense has to be pushed back just a little bit here, wants to get themselves in a good position.
Yeah, and they need to in order to get down there, but they do have the ultimates on their side. They have longevity ultimates. They could last a very long time. Arthur Denial and Certainty both having the support ultimates. The key is not popping both those ultimates at the same time, If you're getting pressured as a Zenyatta, often we'll see the Transcendence get popped to kind of keep himself alive, but then the communication doesn't go through. Breno has the blade as well, so
here's the bomb.
The bomb going over the top of the jet. Sobek's going to pounce on Face Monster, and this could be the opening the offense needs.
Now, Sobek is forced to back out. Here comes Breno with the blade, but you've got the Transcendence of Lebowski to shut things down to the Valkyrie as well to keep everyone nice and healthy. No one is dying on their watch. But speaking of who might die, you've got Abyss here, forced in the back, trying to get back into the back, but Shinu is there to shut him down. Now Rasslin finds Face Monster after trading Pong. Pong is brought back into the fight though. Now Sobek pressuring Cerny is gonna find this double kill actually with the Primal Rage. Wants to reset back with the team, however, now and deal with Kai, who has been using his own Primal Rage here. And poor Pong. Pong is just getting bullied into the wall right now, but if you're Brigitte, as Reddit would say, Brigitte can 1v1 a tank and win just because of that healing. I mean, in that case, it was true, because when you're only doing 10 damage per swing, not a whole lot you can. But here comes Pong, now looking to get revenge on Kai, bully himself here, but Kai is jumping onto the point himself here, undeterred, and Pong is going to be found actually by a Face Monster. The long-range damage was simply too much for the Brigitte to block, and as a result, the offense is going to be able to lose. They're not going to be able to. The defense, rather, is going to be able to push back the offense once more. But Rasslin, again, is finding these picks into Face Monster. They might actually want to push in here because they have the opportunity to. But nope, the res is going to come out.
Yeah, but right now, the pressure's being put on. But as I say, that Face Monster is going to end this push single-handedly. He said, all right, fine, that's a cool shot you found onto me. I'm going to find one right back onto you. Rasslin has this high ground. They're going to push the defense all the way back. I wish Shasta and Lebowski didn't use their ultimates at the same time on this attack. I was said it earlier, but you know, kind of deciding which support ultimate to use. You don't need both of them at the same time. You know, Valkyrie's not going to make too much of a difference in a Transcendence, and so with both of them using it, you know, they're both close to their ultimate being built up again from that last point, but still. You kind of wish you had one for those fights.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Face Monster finds Rasslin. It was even just res, and he lets Shasta down. But look at what the offense has got now. 6 full ultimates here. In the next fight, they'll definitely have it. Oh no! As I say that, Rasslin's going to switch over to the Hanzo. Wants to get some more pressure with the Storm Arrows. But again, 5 ultimates for the offense here. But the defense is building close to theirs too.
Yeah, definitely, and this is going to be an ultimate fight coming up. Rasslin is going to switch over to the Hanzo, so now we're going to see some Hanzo play coming out here, and that could be a great combination, kind of split up the team with the Dragons, or maybe even find some frags here. But yeah, it's going to be a Q pressing war pretty soon. You just have to be careful because Face Monster is finding these picks like crazy.
Yeah, Rasslin here is switching to the Elder Shimada brother, but Face Monster again, you talked about it just there. Finding the pick up to Lebowski, and Breno looking to follow up on those efforts now with the blade, but he gets knocked back by the whip shot, and he's not going to find value, but Rasslin does, catching Breno. But here comes the res back onto Rasslin after getting the kill, or getting killed by Face Monster here. But oh, from the back, Sobek, that was unexpected, I'm sure, for Face Monster there. Did not expect Sobek to jump up behind him and then start knocking you around. But here you see Cerny is being very pressured by Sobek, who's following up on that aggression from the Primal Rage. But Abyss Shasta's down by the Diva Bomb, and now the defense is just pushing back. Fracture once more. WildHeart has been so good at just holding them down and not giving them any room to work with. Shinu's demeched. They know they're going to be going for the stagger here. Poor Shinu. Can I get an F for Shinu?
Rest in peace, Shinu. No, they still have time for one more big long fight, or maybe 2 quick ones. So you know, you do have to engage as fast as you can. You just can't get staggered here. And look at the pressure they're putting on him. You want to make sure definitely no one dies in this kind of preliminary phase, trying to get through the door. Make sure no one goes down. But as I say that, Rasslin,
oh my goodness. They're trading back and forth, though, with Face Monster. This turns it into a 5v5. No real spawn advantage. You see Rasslin's brought back into the fight, but they're a long ways away from pushing this payload, especially with 25 seconds left. This has got to be the last fight. They're backed into a corner, and they know they have to make things work here. But here comes Breno again with the blade in the back to catch Rasslin off guard here. He can't deal with that aggression from Breno in his face. He can't get the pick, and here comes Breno finishing off Pong as well. Shino is forced to use the bomb. It's not going to find anything landed on the top balcony. Actually, Arthur Denial did use his Transcendence to keep the team alive and keep himself alive. Didn't want to get killed by the bomb, but then finished off. Sobek is looking to contest the point, but this is looking like it's going to fall on the side of the WildHeart eSports here. The defense is simply too good at locking down the spawns, and Breno is going to kind them all. All the kills go towards him. Overtime now, the wick is burning and no one is there. WildHeart eSports take Gibraltar. Very nice hold from them and just locking down point 2. That's exactly how you want to do it. You hold the high ground on the jet, prevent them from even walking through the doors with your Widowmaker, and they win this one out in the play of the game. Going to the Brenji here.
Yeah, Breno found Rasslin when he died with the Dragon Blade. That was it. He died with the Dragon Blade, and that's where that fight kind of ends up. It's unfortunate because by the time Wrestling was able to use the Dragon Blade, he used it from spawn. Didn't have any value. Just kind of blindly shot it. And that was, that ending. The key to that ending fight was getting Wrestling out of there while he had the dragon. And by the time
Well,
anybody trying to
hold
came
on a
back,
minute.
what's that?
Not Dragon Blade, but Dragon Strike. Just want to clear that
Yeah,
up.
yeah, strike. Sorry,
I get them confused too. Like I've just called the normal Dragon Strike a Dragon Surge combo because that's what I've just gotten so accustomed to saying. But
yeah, that's
interestingly enough, we haven't seen a whole lot of the Dragon Surge combo here. We saw it a few times on King's Row, but other than that, it's lying dormant here. It might have gone into hibernation.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, that's just angry caster who sees too many games where that happens. No, yeah, it's a very popular combination. It's just because it's just something that happens so much. You see these kind of plays going back and forth, and the Dragon Surge combination. It's just an easy team wipe. But I love that Blizzard is kind of like, okay, we see what you mean. This is something that's kind of used so often. They did nerf Mercy to the point where you can't damage boost it, try to break through that transcendence. So Zen is still the forever answer to the Dragon Surge combination. So yay, good for them. But we are gonna move on to our next map. Now these teams have been going back and forth. Fractures does have one win under their belt against WildHeart, as WildHeart's been taking most of these games, but we're going to move on to Horizon, another assault map.
Horizon Lunar Colony, especially after the rework, it's understandable that teams want to practice these maps here.
Yeah, and it's especially if they're going to be kind of competing in open division, which both these teams seem like they're getting ready to compete in. We'll see them kind of on that big stage of open division and Horizon Lunar Colony. It seems that even Overwatch League teams seem to be having some struggles with, and I'd like to see how these guys can interact with this map. Now we are going to have a little bit of a delay because somebody is going to reboot the computer. They felt the early symptoms and they didn't want to they didn't want to have to deal with that. It
Didn't
was
want
kind
to
of
succumb.
exactly it was a crash syndrome or a crash
Ooh.
symptom. It's a new strain that we're still discovering. The doctors are on it though. They'll have some information on that.
Mm-hmm. Horizon Lunar Colony, ever since the rework, I think teams like it a lot more than they did before. And now they're more interested in actually playing it and getting some experience on the map itself, which makes a lot of sense because it's practically a new map. The bare bones are the same, but beyond that, it's a whole new map. So
Yeah.
you really need to practice that.
Yeah, trust me. I still try to walk through the door where there's stairs now. So it is practically a new map. The strategy is still pretty much there is some difference in the strategies now that they have those kind of barriers of cover and the overhang that kind of looks down on the attackers as they try to approach the point A. But usually, we still see either Ryan or Risa a little bit more, just because you could kind of hold that high ground and rain down shots on them on the enemies below. Diva still a very popular pick on this map as well, but sometimes we'll see the pulled pork combination. There's a lot of combinations that you can run on Horizon Lunar Colony, and just because it is so new, teams are still trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I think for the most part, though, for point A, you want to play it the same way, with just the Risa Hog on the high ground and the Junkrat spam damage as well. Maybe even a Diva, Risa Diva that works because Diva can watch the flanks. But be a little bit interesting. Teams have definitely been playing the meta so far, so I expect to see that from the defense. But how the offense wants to approach it, many different ways. You can run the dive, you can run Ryan Zarya and try to sneak by him, or whole other host of opportunities that you have for you.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's a new map, and it's just everyone's still trying to figure out some things. And I can imagine, I can't really imagine, you know, they're not running a Risa Hog Junkrat, especially just because the high ground. There's not really too much that the offense could work with. They could kind of go with the room on the right side where you're walking through, you walk through this corner, and then you can get through this room on the right side, and you can walk up the stairs and try to take the fight to them, and that's something we see pretty often. But if you're trying to walk down, the middle of the map, you're gonna get rained down on by that Junkrat. So it's something we see often at the moment. We don't have a Junkrat on defense actually, so a little odd.
A little interesting. They might want to have just the Brigitte, for the pressure herself. That can work. And you have a decent amount of spam, with the Diva, micro missiles, and the recent. You got the halls as well. So it makes sense. They again, it's scrims. Just want to always remind you, scrims. They want to try out new things perhaps, and they want to see how Brigitte can fit into one of these comps. But on the offense side, man, if that isn't a comp that we all have come to know and love or hate, depending on what you play in the past few metas. I mean, look at this. Ryan Zarya, double sniper, Mercy Zen. I mean, I could recite that in my sleep. I practically do already. And they're looking for the pressure here on the front lines, taking down this Orisa shield because they know it's low HP. But here comes the push up the side. The Brigitte's there trying to stop things for the most part, but has to be, moving over to the side. But Shinu does find in the first pick, drawing first blood, and halting the main actually was a very smart move because that let them secure the next 2 picks. And Face Monster is a shot getting a little bit interrupted there by the whip shot from Pong there. Very, very rude. How could you? Almost a full team wipe here. They only didn't catch Face Monster, though, who is low, and they're looking for the stagger pick. They're actually going to find it with Shinu, and that is going to delay the offense's push by even longer. Very well played.
Yeah, and I love that the analysis coming out on the side of a WildHeart. They realize with this comp they're not going to really win too much, so Brenno's going to switch over to the Genji, and Kai's going to move over to the Winston. So they're going with a more of a full-on dive to try to engage them here, and I think that's what you have to do to kind of take to the high ground fight to them.
Because the offense did lose that first fight, they're going to be at the ultimate disadvantage here, whereas the defense has all the ultimates in their playbook here. They got a lot of things to work with as soon as they build them up, and Sobek's very close to her supercharge here. Could use that huge anti-nade, by the way, to catch them all, and Sobek takes advantage of that right away, as well as Pong here moving in. Pong, though, does pay for his transgressions against the law by Kai there, tasing him down, but Sleep comes out. It's actually going to find Kai in his bubble, but he's woken up right away because there's so much damage. And Sobek, right after the supercharger runs out comes the nano boost, and Sobek is fragging out right now, but Face Monster finally does shut her down, and the offense is actually looking to establish themselves on the point finally. They've got the picks going, but here comes Pong again coming back to the point. Face Monster is fragging out once more. Oh my goodness. Finding 2 there again on the DMEC, and the defense knows Fracture here. They don't want to contest because it would just be a suicide mission. They want to get themselves set up on point B.
That is a definite defense win until Face Monster comes around, single-handedly turning that back in the favor of the offense. Finding 4 picks in that fight. 4. Your team only has 6 members. 4/6 of your team is all gone, and that was just some huge plays. Very impressive.
Sobek got to be very careful here. She's pressured already, but the infosight from Rasslin here is going to give them the information and possibly the tools to win this, because as we all know, knowing is half the battle. In the old words of G.I. Joe. And oh my goodness, look how Face Monster's playing this, just juking back and forth between the walls. He doesn't want to give Rasslin a chance to take a shot onto him, whereas he's holding an angle where he still can. Pong's got to be careful though. Doesn't get taken down here. He's pushing up very aggressive, and you see they're forced to invest the bomb. Shinu has been playing aggressive, especially here. I want to highlight his diva play. It's just been very oppressive onto this offense here so far. But again, here comes a blade transcendence from Lebowski to deny things out here, and it doesn't look like the offense is getting too much in the way of picks right now, but with that initial early pick onto X-Shasta might be what they need, because you lose a lot of healing, you lose the anti-nade, you lose the sleep, and you lose the nano boost too, which X-Shasta does have. And Kai finds a lot of utility picks onto the Diva mech and then the supercharger, and then it allows Face Monster the room that he needs to pop off and find 2. The Nano Zen. Okay, a little bit interesting here for Lebowski. The big Lebowski himself coming out looking for the frags, but here comes Pong trying to contest the point. Not going to find a whole lot, but here comes Sobek once more coming out of spawn, drops the bubble, finds the kill into Abyss before he could get back into his mech. Sobek is forced to jump out, but finished off by Brenno. The Brenji is back in force and is looking better than ever, finding all the picks that the offense needs to cap things out, and they win Horizon Lunar Colony taking this first round with a whole lot of time available to them. Took them a little bit to get going on the offense, but once they did, they got it rolling. And look at this. They did not lose time. They gained time, a whole 2 seconds. That time bank is looking very solid.
Yeah, it gives a couple steps out the door ahead of time. But yeah, I'm so impressed with that offense. It seems like the defense was just shutting them down, and then out of nowhere, Face Monster fragging out, popping off, like, taking that point A single-handedly. It seems like, and then once they move on to point B, they just kept the snowball rolling. They didn't leave up any pressure that they were having on point A, and now they are able to kind of take the fight to them and win it out there. It did get a little scrappy on point B. It was going back and forth like crazy, but still able to win it out here. And like you said, gained a whole 2 seconds.
Yep. If you all remember, Temple of Anubis game, that was a very long contest we saw from both sides. And if Horizon Lunar Colony is any example, you might be seeing that again. That would be pretty exciting here, pretty hype. But it all depends on how Fracture wants to approach this. They're gonna start with the dive, and then with this Brigitte as well. Interesting pick, along with Diana. But I suppose they're wanting to go for that aggression. Pressure dive with Sobek and Shinu. Try and displace the defense, and then give your DPS the room that they need to work with.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be the key here. Like we mentioned earlier in this map, is these teams are kind of learning these maps, but this is a very, very meta, composition we have on the side of the defense. That Junkrat is going to be the key here to kind of finding that damage. I've seen games where these Junkrats kind of shut down absolutely unequivocally. No one could get past this Junkrat spam damage.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is going to, or the offense is going to come out rather. They're running they're running a very interesting combat. They're still running triple support with the Winston D.Va. So yeah, we'll see how this works out.
Sobek here hasn't used the bubble yet, which is a very smart decision from her. She doesn't want to use it because she knows once that bubble is down, the defense is going to collapse. And Sobek is forcing them to contest now by taking a position on the point where the D.Va has to fly down to contest her. And as a result, the offense now can start to move in and gain some ground. Shinu is D-Mech, however, on the top. Again, a little too far forward perhaps in the face of danger, but Rastlin, undeterred, has himself, is going to be able to stay alive for the most part here. And Shinu is actually still alive right now. I'm not sure. Oh, Shinu is engaged in a duel of the fates now right now with Abyss, who's very low himself here. Is going to get finished off by, there we go. D.Va is not long for this world, if I'm not mistaken here, as long as Shinu and Sobek finish them off. But they're both very low here. They got low health, and Face Monster does find the kill, and Shinu is all alone here behind enemy lines looking for frags, but can't find any, and is forced to just get the heck out of Dodge as fast as possible. Wow, that's interesting. Look at where Xshasta is playing outside here in space.
Yeah, it's a very
oh no.
Like people forget about it, but oh no, guys,
oh no.
Find them there.
Pressure.
The floating mechanical horse in space is something you don't want to see.
Oh. Okay. I'm not sure what's happening again in space, and no one can hear you scream, so I have no idea what's happening in terms of audio. Xshasta has got to be a little afraid though of Arthur Denial, who's been going out there and pressuring her. But here's the tire now coming up from Breno, looking for the pressure himself. Finds Sobek, and the offense is being delayed once more here. They got 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Only a few more fights, and by a few I mean like 5 or 6. So they just gotta get the wheels rolling here if they want to get the most value. But if they keep finding kills into Sobek like that, it's going to be very hard for them to gain any sort of momentum.
Exactly, yeah. It looks like the fight's going to be taken to space. They're going to rotate outside here. And this is a very, very interesting strategy.
What are you doing here?
Shinu's going to try to engage all by himself.
It worked. They knocked Arthur Denial off the high ground. All they got to do is get the pick, but they're the Transcendence from Lebowski trying to counteract the effects of the whole hog. But here, they duck out of the space. No, they can't get out in time. The airlock did not close, and there's 2 now from Shinu. That's a Shinu bomb. They've been ever prevalent here in this fight, and they've been absolutely insane. This is going to be Fracture taking this. They got to move on to the next point as fast as they possibly can because Kai is down. They know the offense can't reset. This is their time to shine. They're already down by 3 minutes here. They're going to get more time, but they need to move as fast as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. They still have a minute on their normal time bank, and they're going to try to move in on this point, but it's a hard task ahead of them. Abyss has the D.Va bomb, and Cerny does have the Valkyrie, so there is a lot of longevity here, and there's a lot of ulting, but look, they're going to dive onto the Widowmaker instantly.
They want to pressure the Widowmaker. Wrestling finds the pick. Sobek used the Primal Rage here, but the Dragon Strike is actually going to be denied by Abyss, who's forced to use the bomb. Or is it going to find the value that they need? No. It's going to be parried by Pong here. Unfortunately, is going to wake up Kai from his little slumber there. But Sobek on the point is now back there, trying to pressure Kai and finish him off. And Wrestling, their combined efforts are all they need, and Abyss is found as well. Both tanks now down. They're pressure diving the Widowmaker, and the support's trying to force them back into spawn, but they've left the point. Now all alone, there's no one there to just gain the percentage and the pressure. Breno tries to get on, but it's simply not enough, and this is where you could see the stall begin to come out here. They've gotten 2 ticks already. Here comes Kai coming out, and Face Monsters opening things up with a fix onto Shasta. Bomb invested by Shinu. Gotta find Kai. This could be big because they won't have the bubble available to them and no shields, but Sir Nee needs to be careful that he doesn't go down. Gotta stay alive. Is like a cockroach here on this Mercy. Just cannot be killed all around the battlefield. Finally found by Shinu. Here comes Breno though with a blade in the back line. Catches Rasen, but Sobek with the tendrils of the Tesla gun is going to be able to find the pick, and now Abyss is demected, shortly finished off. Kai is looking for the contest on the point, but is it enough? Has to jump up to get the heals. Almost had the Primal Rage, but is going to be found before he gets a chance to use it. Arthur Denial is found as well. Sir Nee, they're all falling down. Now, round 2 is going to go towards the Fracture. This is neck and neck so far. Their times are very close together, and this is going to be a long Horizon Lunar Colony. I can feel it.
Yeah, definitely I could feel it. This feels like one of those comp games that could go into overtime. Just keep repeatedly going into overtime. Yeah, so hopefully we don't see that. But we are seeing some very definitive play here, and I love that Wrestling. You know, we haven't really pointed them out too much just because, you know, there's a lot of other stuff going on. But Wrestling on that Hanzo, finding the key picks, found Face Monster, was also able to take out Kai. So with the main tank and one of your main DPS gone, it's kind of hard for you to install on that point, and that's where that fight was engaged. So yeah, great offense on the side. It was a Fractured. They are going to start on the offense again because the time was so long. What you really want to do is just essentially have a repeat performance. Keep up that pressure. Keep putting them on the back burner, and use what you have to your favor.
Cleared my throat there just a little bit. That was a long fight. Made my voice a little bit hoarse, I'm not gonna lie. But speaking of horses, on both sides, no, never mind. Okay, Kai, yeah, on both sides, the Orisa play has been completely stellar so far. You know, the mechanical horse can have so much value depending on how you play, and both sides have been finding it. You know, with their halts, bringing the offense into positions where they can shoot them. But look, the Ghost comp. All right, here we go. I love this. Slambulance is kind of falling out of the meta because the Ghost comp is just so much better, so much healing, and so much more to deal with, and they're going to find their way onto the point right away. The defense needs to move into contest. Abyss is there as well as Arthur Denial. They're looking to shut this down for the most part here, but it's very hard. They want to stay on the high ground as long as they possibly can, but Abyss is demected, and this is beginning to force their hand. Kai needs to drop down, but has to use the Fortify as a result, but it's still low health regardless. There's just too much damage there, but Breno, speaking of damage, finds it on the side here on the Soldier 76. A very interesting pick, not one you see very often, but it seems like he's going to find the value of getting the first pick onto Lebowski here. Now, just the tanks on the point. Now, Shasta has already built up the Coalescence. That's to be expected when you're running the Ghost comp, and now Face Monsters found. Arthur Denial, not long for this world, uses Take a Breather here to try and sap some time. But unfortunately, this is going to be able to feed the ultimates. And now, first take going towards Fracture here. They need to move on to the second point as fast as possible and stick with the ultimates they've got. If they can get this big grab, that's going to be huge.
It is going to be huge, and they can combine it with so many people. You can combine it with the Shadow right after, or Fraslin's able to build up that bomb quickly. You can combine
watch
it with
out.
that.
There it is.
There is the Graviton. It's going to be bubbled out so that nobody could really do too much damage in there, but Sobek doesn't care about no shield. Yeah,
Sobek moves right in, swings the hammer, and there's the shatter. They know they got no shield beyond Arthur Denial's little puny one, and that is not going to stop Sobek whatsoever from landing a big one there and catching all the picks. But here's the charge coming out onto Kai, who's very low, needs to be careful, but Breno on the front lines is putting the pressure on the rest of the team. You saw Sobek had to move into the side room to try and deal with it, but here come the reinforcements now. Sobek is not alone. The team has got her back, but as a result, she needs to back out just because of that pick onto Wrestling and onto Shinu. But undeterred, they've got one more fight. They've got another fight coming up here. Pong is coming up on the sound barrier. They could use to engage. They got to watch out for the tire and the barrage, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's going to be something that's very scary. Here comes the tire. Going to try to find someone in the back line.
Underneath.
Oh, yeah, you can see. But look at that.
Sobek again.
Oh, goodness.
It's so good. My
He is
goodness
on
gracious, I don't know
fire.
how she does it. It's like a magician's trick here, man. I doubt she's going to reveal her secrets, but Lebowski's found. Pong was a little slow on that. Of course, it's a cast time ultimate for the sound barrier, so that's a little bit unlucky, but now here comes the fight. The Coalescence is on the point to make up for the lost Brigitte, but with the lost Lucio as well, you've only got the Moira, and she can't keep everyone healthy for long as Shinu's found. And now Sobek needs to get the heck out of Dodge as fast as possible, is able to do so, but now they need to pressure the tanks. Kai may have got bitten off more than he could chew, might be forced to invest the Primal Rage. Ow! Barely getting up by the skin of his teeth. He's like, oh no, does get found. Offense needs to move in right away and take advantage of this because that is a huge pick. He's respawning now. They need to get on there, and they need to get on there fast, but no, they're going to wait. They're going to dilly-dally. I know they had to wait for your contest for the rest of your team to get there, but you could have fought things out. Here comes Lebowski, though, opening things up with the rally, trying to give the teams the value, but here, again, is another tire from Face Monster here. If you've used all the ones he had, you could make a car with him, but regardless, it's going to find Lebowski right away, but with Wrestling opening things up with a huge bomb like that, it could go to either team right now. It's very even. 5v4. Breno switching back onto the Tracer here, looking for the contest and the frags, and he's going to find one right away. Wrestling is the first to be found. He's looking for Shino as well, trying to assassinate him, but Pong is there. But now Pong is no more, and this is going to be it going towards the defense one more as it's just Shinu left with the grab. Is going to be taken down. The offense needs to move in as fast as possible and get to the point because there's 20 seconds left, and it's going to be the last fight. Pong has got to get there on this Lucio. You know he's been going on r/Lucio rollouts, and he is going to be getting there, but no, has to turn back to speed with Shino. 10 seconds left. Is anyone even going to make it?
Oh, I don't know. It's going to be Sobek going to have to charge onto that point. She's going to have to make it so different. The time is running out. They are going to make it onto this point, but what cost? There's not a lot of coordination.
Face Monster's down. Ooh. Arthur Denial is down. Cerny's going for the res. He's going to be evening things out on the point. Is Breno on the Sphera over from the Tracer, now looking to pressure the ground war because he knows does not really have any hit scan to deal with it, but undeterred, Sobek catches Abyss off guard. It's now overtime. They've got one tick already. They're looking for more here. They need to set a solid pace that the WildHeart needs to match, but here's Pong dropping the sound barrier on the point. You've got Arthur Denial there as well. They're looking for the frag onto him, I am sure, but they need to find Breno, who's been going undeterred, uncontested in the skies, finding all the value that he possibly could ever want right now, and here comes another tire. That's 5 so far from Face Monster. It's got your number, Sobek. It's looking for you, but no, it's going to be going on a bit of a tangent here. Sobek knows that she can hit those, but no, it's going to get off the point, and no one is there. They've gotten 2 ticks, though, so this is all up to WildHeart eSports here. They need to get onto that second point as fast as possible and take that time and use it to their advantage that they've got so far with 4 minutes available.
Actually, they didn't even quite get 2 ticks. They only got 59%, so it was very, very close to that second tick, but still great performance coming out from both sides. And I feel like Breno switching on to that Pharah, we've mentioned it earlier, but Pharah seems like a comfort pick for Breno. And once things get a little crazy and you're just like, get on the point, there's nothing, there's no strategies we could talk about right now, just get on the point and fight where you can. Breno switching on to a comfort pick, looking so comfortable in that Pharah, raining down some justice, and I think that may have been one of the key difference makers in that point. It just came down to they didn't really have an answer for that Pharah. Wrestling was on this Junkrat, who's usually their answer for the Pharah. So there's just too much going on right now for the offense to kind of switch up, especially when time's running that low. But look at this. They have, I think the time to whittle down here should be on point A. You don't want to take the fight to point B, when they still have 3-4 minutes. You don't want to let them have that. So you do want to win, 2 or 3 fights here before it switches over to that point B to try to get this W.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sobek is not running the Arisa. Sobek's actually running the Rhine. I think that might be more of a comfort pick for her. Which makes a lot of sense here. When you're in a crunch time like this, everyone kind of falls back to the heroes that they want to play. It's like Southern comfort food, but no, they're Overwatch heroes instead. But here comes, my goodness, Sir Knee. Fast boy, going at the speed of sound here. I mean, play some Eurobeat in the background because he is drift. He's a speedy speed boy, let me tell you. Oh, X-Shasta, the res is denied, is not going to get even the opportunity to do so, and now it's a 6v4 on the point, 6v3, 6v2. It's just Wrestling and Lebowski, and they're going to be found. My goodness, what a beautiful execution of the Ghost Comp from the WildHeart eSports here in Wrestling. Needs to get out of there, but no! You cannot escape the Moira's biotic grasp. it'll find you no matter where you are, and this is where the offense needs to move in as fast as possible. They've got the ultimates starting to work towards them in their favor. They're establishing control over the point. This is it for the defense here. Fractured needs to step up big, and with that shatter, they might have done just that. Kai is down, but they're not going to find any picks. The tire, though, is 2 picks down right away, and Sobek does find Face Monster. It's just Abyss left on the point. You know, Sterny's got to get out there as fast as he possibly can here on this Lucio to try and gain the percentage on the point, but it's just not going to be enough. He was split from the team and wasn't able to provide the value that they needed, and Rastlin there definitely winning this fight along with Sobek with their clutch ultimates, definitely evening things out. But again, the offense is coming up ever closer towards some of their own here. It's like a ticking time bomb drawn ever closer.
Right, you do have to be careful of the two tank ultimates. That's really going to be the key here. Is that graviton and that shatter could be such a huge difference. So you do have to make them your focus. And Rasslin's already doing that, raining down some rockets on them. But he's going to get booped off there. Oh.
Oh my goodness, the shatter was denied by that, but here, the bomb combo, it's not going to find anything beyond the kill onto Rastlin, but Pong as well with the response. Sobek charges Abyss away from the fight, but as a result, is going to leave the fight, or the point alone now. They can start getting some point. Oh my goodness! What a massive shatter by Sobek. Is there enough damage, though? Rastlin's coming back out of the spawn as the Tracer here trying to contest, but there's not a whole lot you can do in this situation. Pong is out as well. You're found. Rastlin needs to be able to stay alive, and he's doing it for the most part, allowing Shinu the opportunity to get back, but it's not simply going to be enough, and this point is going towards the WildHeart eSports there. They couldn't hold on for long. It was in their grasp, but they just couldn't get it, and this ends right on time at 9 o'clock. A perfect 2-hour scrim block, and WildHeart eSports definitely coming out on top here, but Fracture, do not sleep on them. They were definitely a great team, and one you should keep your eyes on in this play of the game. Going to Shinu. Shinu showing how good a diva can be in the right hands, even though you're on the losing team. Shinu was an aggressive diva, insane at just finding the value constantly.
Yeah, constantly, over and over again. It's just so impressive. These two teams both showing what you could bring to the table, and I wish them all the best of luck in their journey in the open division. I will definitely be keeping my eye out on these guys, as should everyone else here.
If I'm Fracture here, definitely do not feel discouraged at all. It's a scrim, right? You play for improvement, and they got a whole lot of footage to go through here and, try to improve better than that. But regardless of that, this was the Horizon Scrim Nights between Fracture and WildHeart eSports. I was Rian, your play-by-play caster, and with me was Pulse, your color caster. And we cannot forget Julian, the producer, the backbone of the stream here. Without him, there would be nothing. So definitely a big shout out to him for taking the time out to produce the stream for you guys. Regardless, I hope you all enjoyed and have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everyone.